All right, everyone. Welcome to today's charting session. Sa mga hindi pa po nakakaalam, what we do here is we typically look at either yung mga trending names, and by that, I mean yung mga pangalan na maaaring malaki yung ginalaw, whether to the upside or to the downside, or perhaps malaki yung value traded, or generally speaking, mas minamatahan lang po ng mga tao. Also, tumatanggap din po tayo ng mga chart requests. So kung meron po kayong mga requests, please feel free to let me know in the comment section below. Alright, so let's start off with East-West, no? Now, East-West was not a requested chart. I just wanted to look in on it today kasi bumaba na tayo at bumalik dito sa area natin of previous consolidation here. Okay, kung saan ako nag-drawing ng white zone. Now, I zoomed out to start with on purpose just to show you this area, but we're gonna zoom in now na meron na tayong context, no? So, what happened today was we gapped down. Actually, mahina talaga. We gapped down and then we went into that white zone. Now, as I've mentioned before, it's almost always safer na maghintay ng bullish price action before jumping in, even though meron kayong mga zones na pinag-aabangan. In this particular instance, meron nga itong East-West. And so far, at least for today, it's proven to be right, no? Hindi pa tayo nagpakita ng strong reaction from this area here. So what do I want to see sa East-West from here? I want to see if this area will hold, syempre, number 1, di ba? And number 2, if we can print some type of bullish price action. Maybe some type of inverted head and shoulders pattern, di ba? Dito sa ilalim that we can trade. Kung magbuo ng something like that, I wouldn't expect a strong up move, but I would expect na merong magfo-form na area or range that we can trade in. Okay? So, kung sakali man na mabuo yan, di ba? Ano yung mga targets na pwede natin tingnan? Number 1, syempre, is yung gap fill na naiwan natin dito for potential gap fill. So, the gap will be filled around 8.34, no? And if we can exceed that, I think yung range that we're trading in right now is somewhere between etong white zone na to hanggang dito sa resistance at 8.71. Now, to show kung saan galing tong 8.71, I need to zoom out again. So, dito siya galing, etong low na to. Okay, bakit yan yung pinili ko? Kasi as you can see, this area has served as an inflection point. It acted as resistance here, support there. Let's zoom in here. Diyan na naman tayo nakahanap ng resistance, no? Yes, it's not tick perfect, but close enough. It's close enough to consider this entire area as an inflection point. So, kung makapag-form tayo ng bullish price action dito, then maybe we can look for a potential gap fill dito sa East-West. Or kung malakas talaga, may momentum yung pagtulak, then baka balikan natin yung resistance dito around 8.71. For now, yun lang yung bullish scenario na nakikita ko dito sa East-West. Pwede rin, isa pa, if sabihin natin from here mag-hold pero mag-push ka agad pataas, breaking above this area here, then yes, we can push back towards 8.71. But the reason why I was hesitant to call that a quote-unquote bullish scenario is because ang liit lang eh. Parang 20 cents lang yung iaangat. And for a stock that costs 8 point something, 20 cents doesn't really amount to a whole lot, di ba? So I would rather yun nga, if we can print some type of bullish price action here, then see if we can ride that back up from 8.20 something, papuntang 8.71. So that's at least like what? 7% man lang, maybe 8%, depends, no? Pero sabihin natin, mabasag altogether tong white zone na to, basagin natin tong 8 peso na area, then highly likely ang mangyayari next is baka balikan natin at i-fill yung gap na naiwan natin dito from before, and that gap fills around 7.2, 7.3. Tapos kung pati yun na fill at tumuloy, then baka balikan natin yung mga lows na naiwan from before. Next, pag-usapan po natin tong KEEPR, which a lot of people have been requesting for, especially sa via DMs, no? So, my apologies na we haven't talked about this for a while. It's just, I wasn't really seeing anything in it. But since marami na nag-request, let's take a quick look at KEEPR. We'll be using the hourly chart para lang mas meron tayong structure na pwedeng tignan. Kasi sa daily, medyo gumulo yung itsura ng chart because if ang laki nung binaba diba? Okay, so let's start off with this. We are currently trading at 1.2 and we are trading within this range here between 1.15 to 1.24. Now, if we can break above tong 1.24, then the next level that we'll be trading at or the next range will be from 1.24 hanggang 1.21 to 1.32. Okay, again, medyo area siya, no? I can't make the line an area, but I'm looking at an area between 1.31 to 1.32. If we can break that, then 1.36 is next, followed by 1.44. So yun yung mga levels pataas na tinitingnan ko dito sa KEEPR. Now, it's gonna take a bit of doing para mabalikan natin yan. Okay? Kasi technically, again, we have been forming highs, lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, and so on, no? Just because nag-range tayo after forming a lower low, it doesn't necessarily mean na it has to push higher. Pwedeng bumibuelo lang muna siya before it pushes even lower. Okay? So, konting ingat-ingat lang. Ang ayaw nating makita dito sa KEEPR is for price to break down beneath tong 1.11 kasi breaking beneath 1.11 signifies again a new low, no? And kapag new low, ganun na naman, how deep it goes is gonna be hard to say. Diba? People like to think na, bumaba na, ganyan, baka pwede na natin bilhin. But you don't know how deep that rabbit hole goes. Baka paano ko kunwari, bumili ka ng 1.11, umabot din ng 90 cents. Diba? Umabot siya ng 80 cents. What then? Okay? Now, I remember when KEEPR first came out, a lot of people didn't like na I wasn't very bullish about it. Okay? Now, this is not an quote-unquote I told you so moment, but rather, if I wanted to bring that up para lang if you are bullish ng KEEPR from a fundamental standpoint, okay? Tapos gusto nyong bumili, gusto nyong mag-add or whatever, then I would suggest na maghintay muna tayo ng some type of confirmation that shows na, hey, you know what? This might start going up towards the upside before jumping in and taking the leap of faith. Okay? Buying where it is right now, again, for me, parang losing proposition. It's in the middle of nowhere. Plus, we're in a downtrend. So, you might as well wait it out. Okay lang kung talaga namang malakas yung fundamental bias mo, you feel like you're really right, then it really shouldn't matter if you buy where it is now or if you buy it 10, 20 cents, 30 cents higher than it is now. Kasi long term naman yun eh. Okay? So, I just wanted to point that out kasi sometimes people say na hindi mo naman sinasabi paano kung kunwari may fundamental bias ako sa isang stock. So I wanted to bring that up. I'm not gonna always bring it up, but I wanted to bring that up for this particular example para lang makover din natin kahit papano. Next, pag-usapan po natin yung tech, no? Na actually, I was discussing this with my students just like a couple of weeks back. And I was saying na ang gusto ko makitang price action dito sa tech was for us to come back and reclaim tong 3.47 to 3.5 na area and see how we react from there. If we react nicely, then pwede nating sabihin that price could come back and trade within this range here between 3.5 to 4.2, which is a very tradable range, no? But for as long as price remains beneath 3.47, I won't be in a hurry to jump in. Okay? Now, some people might say na, di ba nag-range tayo dito, then we broke out, then we came back and tested it. That's true. Okay? I'm not going to dispute that. But, as you all know, the way I trade is from one level to the next. Where we are right now, which is at 3.21, sabihin natin ngayon ako pumasok mismo. My target will be yung next level, which is at 3.47. So, that's 26 cents, no? Hindi ganon kalaki yung potential reward na pwede kong makuha by taking the trade here as compared to what I could potentially get if makuha ko muna yung price action na hinahanap ko. Okay, kasi kailangan nating isipin, yes, nag-range to dito. Yes, nag-break siya sa Darvas or kung ano man yung tinitingnan ng iba. Yes, nag-come back siya and nag-retest. Yes, it could come back and tag yung 3.47. But 3.47 is a pretty decent area. Kung titignan natin, it has acted as support here, here, technically ito din, here din, no? And has acted as resistance here. So, the expectation is, if bumalik dyan yung price, we might see some type of reaction. Baka mag-hold siya, baka hindi mag-breakout. Okay? So for me, to be safe, I would rather wait for price action to confirm my bias rather than trying to quote-unquote buy cheap. Diba? Tas at the same time, only to see na, ay, hindi nag-hold, nabasag din tong range na to. The other thing is, kung sabihin natin, I wanted to trade it here, where would my stop go? Putting my stop beneath this range, so that's at 3.06, no? Meaning I would be risking 15 cents to potentially make 26 cents. Okay, so a little bit more than 1:1. Is my stop okay there? I would argue hindi. Bakit hindi? Kasi may stop ka talaga dito eh. Ito yung swing low eh. Ito yung leg eh. Ito yung leg down, we moved up, we just started consolidating. Diba? So I would argue na stopping out right here could potentially stop you out somewhere around this area where price could still bounce from. So again, for me, it's not the smartest play, but that's just for me. Kung sa inyo, meron po tong setup, edi good for you. You trade it with confidence kasi I'm sure na pinag-aralan nyo naman ng mabuti yung mga entry rules nyo, yung mga setups na hinahanap nyo, and so on. Again, for me personally, I want to see price trade above 3.5 first, then see kung what it does from there. Ang bearish scenario natin is if we break beneath itong low na to. So yung low natin is at 2.8, no? If we break beneath 2.8, then medyo dehado na talaga. Okay? Bagong low na naman tayo and I don't know where that's gonna reach from there. Diba? New low na naman, baka panibagong sakit na naman ng ulo, matagal na naman yung hihintayin natin bago makapag-develop ng enough structure for us to rediscuss tong tech once again. Next, tignan natin yung ABA, no? So itong ABA, again, I wanted to start out na naka-zoom out just to show na again, we are still trading within this range here. We can argue na ito, naging potential overshoot, diba? Na ito pa rin yung true range natin and itong mga lagpas na to, pwede rin natin sabihin na parang overshoot, no? Para lang mas clear yung picture sa ulo natin on what we can expect dito sa ABA. Okay? Now, let's zoom in. And then let me remove some of So tinuruan ako ng isang estudyante ko paano mas madaling tanggalin yung mga drawing, no? Pwede pa lang ganito lang. Alright. So, you learn something new every day. Now, once this broke out here, as we discussed last time, I was looking for a potential pullback to this area all the way hanggang dito. So that's from 0.95 to 0.97 as a possible continuation play papunta dito sa 1.10. Right now, ang nangyari, halos inabot na natin yung 1.10. Umabot tayo ng 1.09 before starting to pull back. So this level is starting to look a lot less interesting para sa akin. Bakit? Kasi parang mas nalilimit na yung upside. Yes, it could still form a potential higher low here, and of course, that will be bullish, no? But, number one, we are still within this larger range. And number two, we need to consider na may mga areas of lows na nag-form dito na kahit na mag-bounce tayo dito ay pwede nating pag-untugan. I am not saying na kung nag-form tayo ng higher low, we are not gonna break above 1.10. Okay? I'm just saying na hindi siya magiging madali. So, what happens next will depend on how price will react from here. Bearish scenario will be if we just break down. Let's say we broke beneath tong 0.97, 0.94 to 0.97 na area, diba? We break beneath it, test from underneath, it holds, rolls over, forms a new low. Pag ganon, it's done. I think at the very least, babalikan natin yung 0.87, which is yung low end ng support natin, assuming na iniisip nga natin that these were just overshoots. Okay? Kung mabasag yung 0.87, then 0.8 yung next level of support. Kung sabihin naman natin nag-pullback tayo to 0.94 to 0.97, then we react accordingly. Pwede natin tignan kung maganda price action, kung malakas, lalo na given may decent volume din, then baka nga, we are forming a higher low and we can start pushing higher from there. By pushing higher, I mean kung mabasag yung 1.10, the next level that we'll be looking at is around 1.2 to 1.21. Okay? But where it is right now, hindi pa ako kampante to say anything good or bad about it. So kung yung nag-request, ang goal was to see kung, papasok na ba ako dito? Again, this I can only say what I will personally do. I can't say what other people will do, no? Personally, I would wait it out a bit to see kung magpo-pull back pa ba tayo further. Okay? Just because my logic is always, I want to come in as close to where I would be wrong. Okay? Meaning, kunyari, feeling ko ang stop out ko is at 90 cents. Kunwari lang, ha? Then I want to get in as close to 90 cents as possible rather than trying to chase price in the middle of nowhere. Now, kung yung nagtatanong naman is because may hawak sila and it started to push higher nga, di ba? So first of all, congratulations. Just be sure to trail your stops accordingly to make sure na kung sakali man mangyari yung ayaw natin mangyari, ay hindi po natin maibabalik sa merkado ang karamihan ng kinita natin. Kung nahit ang trail stop, huwag pong pangunahin ng greed. Let's just maintain our discipline, stick to our plan, and if need be, we can always re-enter naman. Finally, let's talk about BSC. Now, tong BSC, kung titignan natin, it has, again, slowly come down, no? We don't look at this a lot compared to before, diba? In fact, before, na-trade pa natin to, eh. Now, we broke beneath tong 59 cents, tested it from underneath, held, traded within that range for a while, broke beneath it here, broke beneath 50 cents, retested it barely, continued pushing lower until we broke beneath tong 43.5. Once we broke beneath 43.5, lumaban. Diba? We actually came back, tagged yung support natin na drawing natin again all the way from here where the previous high was. Okay? Lumaban tayo from there, 36, it bounced. Tried to trade above yung 43.5 again. Hindi kinaya, broke down and on this candle here, came down, tested it multiple times. Tapos today, ang nangyari was we broke beneath yung range lows. Okay, so let me zoom in a bit lang. Now, once we broke beneath range lows, the expectation is likely we might push lower, revisiting etong low na naiwan before at 36 once again. Okay? Perhaps even revisiting tong swing low na nabuo dito sa bounce candle na to. But regardless, kung tingin nyo man mag-bounce sa 36 or tingin nyo magbabounce sa 35, ang mahalaga lang na tignan natin dito or ingatan natin as a bearish scenario is if we break beneath buong to, 36 to 35, then we might come back and revisit tong mga lows na naiwan natin from before, maybe even filling that gap here. Okay? Now, ano ang bullish scenario dito sa BSC? For me, I wouldn't even look at this a lot hanggang ma-retake at least tong 50 cents. If price can come back and retake tong 50 cents, then I'd start looking again kasi it might come back and trade within this range here, and that's a tradable range, no? That's from 50 to 59, almost 20% din. Diba? Around 17 to 18% with comms. So that's not half bad. So if we can retake tong 50 cents, then I think it bears watching once again. I'm not saying that it will be tradable. I'm just saying na it's worth watching kung ma-retake natin yan. But until then, even if sabihin natin mag-trade siya above ulit tong 43.5, I feel like etong mga to, may mga naipit dyan, mga nag-try mag-hold, mga bumili, thinking na we're gonna push higher after this candle. So, again, for me, it's just simply safer overall kung hintayin ko na lang na mabasag tong 50. Now, of course, as always, kung meron po kayong system or meron kayong parameter na nag-trigger that tells you should take the trade once we're above tong 43.5 na area, then by all means, no, go ahead. Lahat naman ng po na sinasabi ko rito ay para lang sa akin. It doesn't mean na dapat nyo sundan. It doesn't mean na dapat nyo akong painggan. It just means na yun yung opinion ko based on my personal analysis. So guys, dito po nagtatapos yung video natin, no? I hope nakatulong po to sa inyo kahit konti and may natutunan kayo kahit papano. And if so, I would really appreciate it if you give this video a like and consider subscribing to my channel. And as always guys, maraming salamat po sa panonood. I really appreciate it. Good luck and Happy trading!